Now we will study how to convert between fractions and decimals. We're going to look at how to convert decimals to fractions and also look at some examples on how to convert fractions back to decimals. So when we want to convert a decimal to a fraction, we're going to write the decimal number without the decimal, which is the point, as the numerator of the new fraction and 1 as the denominator. Then we'll count the number of digits after the decimal, and for each digit after the decimal we will append a 0 to the denominator and then simplify the fraction that results from that exercise. Let's take a look at a few examples. So we have 0.8. What we're saying here is we're going to write 8 and then put a 1. We're going to count how many digits after the decimal. We have just one digit, so we're going to append just one 0. Now we simplify this, divide this by 2, divide this by 2. We have 4 over 5. So 0.8 is the same as 4 over 5. Now 0.56, what we're going to do here is we're going to write 56 and then as your numerator, and then we have 1 in your denominator. Let's count how many digits after the decimal. We have 1, 2. So we're going to append 2 zeros. So we simplify this. We can divide this by 4 and divide this by 4. So this is going to give us 14 over 25. So 0.56 is 14 over 25. Now we have 0.528, so we have 0.528. We're going to write 528 as the numerator and then 1 as your denominator. And let's count how many digits after the decimal. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to append 3 zeros. So we're going to divide this, and this, once you go through the video on rules of divisibility, you'll be able to identify the factors. So here we have 528 divided by 1000. If you divide this by 2, you have 264 divided by 500. You can also divide this by 2. You have 132 divided by 250, then you can divide this by 2. You have 66 divided by 125. There's really no common factor here. So 0.528 is equal to 66 divided by 125. So now we have 0.096. We're going to write 96 as your numerator, and then you have 1 as your denominator, and you count 1, 2, 3 digits. 1, 2, 3. So we can divide this by 8. You have 12. You divide this by 8, you have 125. So 0.096 is 12 over 125. Now we have some different type of decimals here. So 1.28, this is going to be 128. So we write the 1 in your denominator, count the number of digits, 1, 2. So you have 1, 2. You divide this by 2, you have 64, and then you have 50. You divide this by 2, you have 32, and then you have 25. So you have 1.28 is equal to 32 over 25. If you want to go further ahead and convert it to a mixed number, that would now become 17 over 25. If you're not sure, you can go back to the video that talks about converting from mixed number to improper fraction, and also from improper fraction back to mixed number. For 15.1, 15.75, we write 1575. We divide by 1, and then we count number of digits, so we have 2. So we divide by 100. So common factor here is 5, so we have 315 divided by 20. We can divide further again. By 5, we have 63 divided by 4. So 15.75 is 63 divided by 4. You can also write it as 15/3. Now we're going to convert fractions to decimals. We're going to write the fraction as a division using the numerator as the dividend and the denominator as the divisor. Then we're going to perform a long division using this technique. The first time the divisor is greater than the dividend, we're going to append a 0 to the dividend and then a decimal to the quotient, and we're going to perform the long division until the remainder is either 0 or a specific number of digits after the decimal requested has been reached. So let's see what all of that stuff means. So we're saying convert 1/4 to a decimal. So we're going to draw our division right here. So 1 goes right here and your denominator goes on the outside. So 1 is less than 4, so we're going to put a 0 right here. And then we have a decimal right here, and then we're going to append a 0. So now we have 10 divided by 4. We have 2. 2 times 4, we have 8. So let's subtract. We have 2 as the remainder. Now, this is also less than 4, so we append another 0 right here. 20 divided by 4, we have 5. 5 times 4, we have 20. We subtract, we have 0. So 1/4 is equal to 0.25. Now let's go to 5/7. So the numerator goes on the inside, your denominator goes on the outside. So this is 7 is greater than 5, so we have a 0 point. And then here, the method I use here could confuse some people. So one of the methods I like better is I put a 0 right here. So 50 divided by 7, you have that 7 times. 7 times 7, we have 49. We subtract, we have a remainder of 1. 1 is less than 7, so I'm going to append a 0 again. 10 divided by 7, I have 1. 1 times 7, I have 7. We subtract, and then we have 3. 3 is less than 7, so I'm going to append another 0. 30 divided by 7, we have that 4 times. 4 times 7, we have 28. And we subtract, we get a remainder of 2. And so what this is trying to tell us is we can keep going this way. And so this is what we call a non-terminating decimal. So we can say 5/7 is 0.714. If we're just going to deal with the first 3 digits, if we're going to deal with the first 3 digits of the decimal. So now we have 13/25. So we have the numerator goes on the inside, the denominator goes on the outside. 13 is less than 25, we put a 0 point, and then we append a 0 here. 130 divided by 25, we have 5. 5 times 25, we have 125. We subtract this and we get a 5, which is still less than 25. We append a 0. 50 divided by 25, we have a 2. 2 times 25, we have a 50. And so we have 13/25 is equal to 0.5 2. For this, we have 36 on the inside, 125 on the outside. So we append a 0 because 36 is less than 125. I'll put a decimal. Let's put a 0 at the end of 36, so it gives us 360. Divided by 125, I have 2. 2 times 125, I have 250. Let's have a subtraction happen here. So we have 0, 1, 1. This is less than 125, so we append a 0 here. Divided by 125, this is going to happen 8 times. 8 times 125, I have 1000. Now we subtract here, so I have 0, 0, 1, less than 125, so I append another 0. 1000 divided by 125, I have an 8. So multiplied by 125, I have 1000. When we subtract this, we get a 0. So 36 over 125 is the same as 0.288. Now we have improper fractions. So what we're going to do here is the numerator goes on the inside, your denominator goes on the outside. So 12 divided by 5, that happens 2 times. 2 times 5, we have 10. We subtract, we have 2. 2 is less than 5, so we're going to put a decimal point right here and then append a 0 here. 20 divided by 5, we have 4. 4 times 5, we have 20. Remainder is 0. So 12 over 5 is equal to 2.4. Now let's go to 179 over 75. We divide 179 by 75. This happens 2 times. 2 times 75 is 150. We subtract and we have 29. 29 is less than 75, so we're going to put a decimal right here and append a 0 here. So 290 divided by 75, this is going to happen 3 times. 3 times 75, we have 225. Subtract. So we have 565. So 65 is less than 75. I append a 0. So this is going to happen 8 times. This will come with practice, and if you're not sure, you can always try some multiplication and see which one works. But with practice, you get to understand how this would work. 8 times 75 is 600. We have a remainder of 50. Less than 75, I put another decimal. 500 divided by 75. Let me show you how I'm doing this, even though I'm doing this without showing the work. So let's do this. 500 divided by 75. You divide by 5, we have 100 divided by 15. And then we divide by 5 again, we have 20 divided by 3. This is going to happen 6 times. So this is going to give us 6. 6 times 75, we have 450. And then we subtract right here, and then we have 50. So at this point, you can see that we're repeating we have 50 again. If I add another 0, we're going to get 6 again. We have 450. We subtract again and we get 50. So we're going to continuously have 6 at the end. So what we now have here is 179 over 75 is equal to 2.3866, because we're going to only consider the first 4 decimal places.